In the deep forests of our imagination, it exists as a phantom, a sleek, enigmatic shadow that moves with lethal grace. It is an animal that embodies mystery, magic, and a primal power. This is the Black Panther. It is one of the most iconic and mythologized animals on Earth. But to understand this creature, we must first unmask the myth. The first, and most critical, fact to understand is this. There is no such thing as a single animal species called a black panther. The term is not a scientific classification. It is a colloquial or umbrella term used to describe a specific color variation known as melanism in several species of large cats. Melanism is a genetic condition that causes an overproduction of the dark pigment melanin, the opposite of albinism. The confusion begins with the word panther itself. Scientifically, Panthera is the genus that contains the big cats, the species that can roar. Tigers, lions, jaguars, leopards, and snow leopards. However, the common name panther is used inconsistently around the world. In Africa and Asia, panther is often used as a synonym for a leopard. In the United States, panther is the most common name for the puma, or mountain lion. This is the source of significant confusion, as the Florida panther, Puma concolor, is not a member of the Panthera genus and is more closely related to domestic cats. When scientists and zoologists use the term black panther, they are almost always referring to a melanistic individual from one of two specific species in the Panthera genus. In the Americas, Central and South, the jaguar, Panthera onca. In Africa and Asia, the leopard, Panthera pardus. These two species are separated by continents and are physically adapted for different environments. The jaguar, Panthera onca, is found only in the Americas. It is the apex predator of the neotropics. It is significantly larger and stockier than a leopard, built like a little tank. Jaguars are known for their immense power, possessing the strongest bite force, pound for pound, of any big cat, which allows them to crush the skulls of their prey. They are also powerful swimmers and comfortable hunting in water. The leopard, Panthera pardus, is found across Africa and Asia. It is a sleeker, lighter-bodied, and more agile animal. Leopards are famously arboreal, or tree-climbing, predators. Their long tail provides essential balance for this lifestyle, and they often haul their kills high into trees to keep them safe from other predators. This geographical separation is precisely why they are different species. But the fact that they share the trait of melanism is a profound clue to its purpose. This distribution of melanism is not uniform. It is heavily concentrated in specific habitats. Melanistic jaguars are documented in Central and South America, almost exclusively in humid, lowland tropical forests. They are much rarer in the more open, northern parts of their range. Melanistic leopards are most common in the dense, tropical rainforests of Asia, particularly Southeast Asia and the Malay Peninsula. Conversely, they are extremely rare in Africa. A 2019 photographic confirmation of a black leopard in Kenya was the first in the region in nearly 100 years. This uneven distribution is not a coincidence. The trait is strongly linked to dense, dark, tropical forests and is almost completely absent from open, arid habitats. This is the single most important clue to understanding why the black panther exists at all. It is not a random mutation, but a powerful selective adaptation. A black panther's coat is not a solid sheet of black. If you look closely, particularly in full sunlight, you can see the cat's typical rosettes are also present. These faint, underlying patterns are aptly named ghost rosettes. Melanism is the overproduction of dark pigment in the background fur, which makes the already dark rosettes much harder to see, but it does not erase them. The persistence of these ghost rosettes reveals something crucial. The genetic mutation for melanism affects a different molecular mechanism than the one that codes for the coat's pattern. The pattern is simply masked, not erased. In jaguars, the path to a black coat is genetically straightforward. The trait is caused by a dominant allele. This means a jaguar cub only needs to inherit the black gene from one parent to be born melanistic. The specific mutation is a 15 base pair deletion in a gene called MC1R, melanocortin-1 receptor. This is a gain-of-function mutation, which essentially floods the cat system with instructions to produce the dark pigment eumelanin. The leopard's journey to the same black coat is genetically opposite. In leopards, melanism is caused by a recessive allele. For a leopard cub to be born black, it must inherit the recessive gene from both of its parents. This means two spotted leopards can have a black cub if both parents are carriers of the hidden gene. Furthermore, the mutation is in a completely different gene, the ASIP gene, a Goody signaling protein. The ASIP gene's normal job is to suppress black pigment production, allowing the lighter, yellow-gold colors to appear. The leopard's mutation is a loss of function. It breaks the ASIP gene, effectively removing the off switch for black pigment. This genetic divergence is the most stunning scientific insight of the Black Panther. Two different species, separated by millions of years of evolution and vast oceans, were faced with a similar evolutionary pressure, the need to survive in dark, dense forests. They independently evolved the exact same solution, a black coat, by using two completely different genetic pathways, a dominant MC1R deletion in one, and a recessive ASIP mutation in the other. This is a textbook example of convergent evolution, and it powerfully underscores just how beneficial this dark coat must be in the right environment. This leads to a critical question. If the gene for melanism in jaguars is dominant, why isn't it more common? Why aren't most jaguars black? In reality, the frequency of melanism in both species is estimated to be around 10–11%. A dominant gene does not automatically mean a more frequent trait. The frequency of any trait is determined by natural selection. This 10% frequency suggests a delicate evolutionary balance. The black coat is a powerful advantage, but only in specific environments, the dense, moist forests. In more open, arid habitats, a black coat is a severe disadvantage. It offers poor camouflage and, more critically, it absorbs too much heat, leading to dangerous overheating. Evolution, therefore, keeps the trait in circulation for the forests, but prevents it from taking over the entire species, preserving the spotted morph for more open terrain. There is a principle in ecology called Gloger's rule, which states that animals in more humid, dark environments, like tropical forests, tend to have darker pigmentation than their counterparts in drier, open areas. The Black Panther is the perfect poster child for this rule. The advantages go far beyond just looking cool. The most obvious advantage is camouflage. In the low light conditions of a dense jungle floor, a black coat offers superior concealment. This is a selective advantage for ambush. For a predator that relies on stealth, this dark fur acts as an invisible cloak in the dark, especially for nocturnal hunts, increasing the success rate. For decades, The night hunter theory was the accepted explanation. But recent science has uncovered a stunning behavioral twist that complicates this simple story. The black coat might not just be for hunting in the dark. In fact, it may be the key to hunting in the day. Camera trap studies on jaguars in Costa Rica have found, counterintuitively, that melanistic jaguars are more active during the day, diurnal, than their spotted counterparts. The spotted jaguars tended to be more crepuscular, active at dawn and dusk, and nocturnal. This finding is the basis of the temporal segregation hypothesis. This hypothesis suggests that the two color morphs, black and spotted, are segregating, or dividing, their activity in time to avoid competing with each other for the same prey. This is a revolutionary idea. It implies that the black coat, rather than just being effective in total darkness, provides superior camouflage in the dappled light or brighter illumination of a dense forest floor during the day. By carving out a unique midday hunting niche, the black jaguar reduces intraspecific competition, allowing a higher total density of jaguars to coexist in the same territory. The color is not just camouflage. It is an economic strategy for resource partitioning. Camouflage is not the only factor. The genes for melanism are pleiotropic, meaning they may affect multiple traits at once. Potential advantages: thermoregulation. Black fur absorbs more sunlight, which could be an advantage for retaining warmth in cooler, high-altitude, or montane forests. Immune response. The genetic pathway that controls melanism is also linked to the immune system. Some studies suggest this may give melanistic cats greater resistance to certain viral infections or diseases. Potential disadvantages: overheating. This is the critical trade-off. The same black coat that retains heat is a massive disadvantage in hot, open, arid environments, which perfectly explains their geographical limits. Social communication. Many cats, including leopards and servals, have white spots on the backs of their ears. These are thought to be used for visual communication, such as helping cubs follow their mother in low light. Melanistic individuals lose these white marks. This presents an evolutionary dilemma. Better camouflage at the cost of impaired visual communication. The power of the Black Panther myth is so strong that people report seeing them everywhere, even where they cannot possibly exist. This is the most common Black Panther myth in North America. Despite countless anecdotal reports, it is essential to be definitive. There has never been a single, scientifically confirmed case of a melanistic, black puma. The fur of a puma, or cougar, or Florida panther, is always a tan or tawny color. So, what are people seeing? Misidentification. Biologists who have investigated these sightings find they are most often black domestic cats, whose size is misjudged. Black dogs, coyotes, or even black bears. Other black cats. In some cases, people may be seeing a melanistic bobcat, a species which is confirmed to exist. Escaped pets. The most likely explanation for a truly large black cat in North America is an escaped or illegally released captive black jaguar or black leopard. There are also no confirmed cases of true melanism in tigers. Instead, a very rare condition known as pseudomelanism or abundism has been documented. This is not a black tiger, but a tiger whose black stripes are so wide and densely packed that they merge, obscuring the orange fur underneath. This trait is not widespread. It is found only in a small, isolated population of tigers in India's Similipal National Park. This extreme rarity and isolation suggests this is not an adaptive trait like the panthers. but rather the result of a genetic bottleneck and inbreeding, which has allowed a rare recessive gene to become expressed. There are no known melanistic lions. The evolutionary logic is simple and brutal. A black coat would be a death sentence for a lion. In the open, hot savannas, a black lion would have zero camouflage and would die from overheating. The black panther is simply the most famous example of a common evolutionary tool. Melanism has been documented in at least 14 different species of wildcats. This includes many smaller cats, such as servals, bobcats, Jeffroy's cats, oncillas, jungle cats, Asian golden cats, and margays. The absence of this trait in lions, tigers, and pumas is just as evolutionarily significant as its presence in leopards, jaguars, and bobcats. It is a perfect illustration of natural selection at work, tailoring each species to its specific environment. Why are humans so fascinated by this specific genetic variant? The black panther is a potent symbol in mythology, often representing power, darkness, mystery, protection, and rebirth. It is seen as a guardian of secrets or a spiritual guide. This myth is a direct reflection of the animal's biology. The reason we see the panther as a symbol of mystery and the shadow is a literal interpretation of its ecological niche. Its sleek, shadowy form and ability to emerge from the depths of the jungle are direct observations of a melanistic ambush predator in its element. Our myths are born from its biology. For generations, the Black Panther was defined by one character, Bagheera, from Rudyard Kipling's 1894 classic, The Jungle Book. Kipling, who was born in India, was scientifically precise. Bagheera is explicitly a melanistic Indian leopard, Panthera pardus. He is Mowgli's wise protector, mentor, and friend, characterized by his cunning and his deep knowledge of the jungle. The name Bagheera itself is derived from the Hindi word Bagh, which can mean tiger, or, more broadly, any member of the Panthera genus. In the 21st century, a new icon redefined the Black Panther for the globe. T'Challa, the Marvel superhero and king of Wakanda. The cultural impact of the 2018 film Black Panther was a seismic event. Challenging stereotypes, it directly confronted and deconstructed stereotypes of Africa and people of African descent, replacing prejudiced Western narratives with a vision of a technologically advanced, uncolonized nation. Representation. It provided powerful, multifaceted representation for Black audiences, portraying Black women as queens, warriors, and scientists, and Black men and families in complex, positive roles. Economic proof. It shattered the age-old myth that diversity in media is unprofitable, demonstrating the strong economic power of diversity and inclusion on screen. Afrofuturism. It became a global touchstone for Afrofuturism, Black pride, and empowerment. The creators of this modern icon tapped into the exact same ancient archetypes. The character of T'Challa is a king, a spiritual protector, a warrior guided by ancestral wisdom, and a guardian of a hidden land. This perfectly mirrors the panther's ancient mythological role as a guardian. The modern icon and the ancient myth are one and the same. From a mythical phantom to a genetic marvel to a cultural icon, the Black Panther is a powerful entity. But the animal itself, the real-world jaguar and leopard, is in trouble. We are not protecting a mythical creature. We are protecting two distinct and threatened apex predators. The official conservation statuses from the IUCN Red List are sobering. The jaguar, Panthera onca, is listed globally as near threatened. it has already been eradicated from nearly half of its historic range. The leopard, Panther pardus, is listed globally as vulnerable. Its populations are declining across large parts of its range. For specific subspecies, the situation is even more dire. The Javan leopard and West African leopard are endangered. The Amur leopard is critically endangered, with only around 120 adults remaining in the wild. The threats are multifaceted and driven entirely by human activity. Habitat loss and fragmentation. This is the single greatest threat. Deforestation for agriculture, like palm oil. Urbanization. And new roads are shrinking and shattering the massive territories these cats need to survive. Poaching. The unfortunately popular coats of black panthers make them a specific target for poachers, who also hunt them for their body parts. Human-wildlife conflict. As their forests disappear, leopards and jaguars are forced into closer contact with humans. They may prey on livestock, leading to retaliatory killings by farmers and ranchers. The story of the Florida panther, or the puma, serves as both a final warning and a sign of hope. That population, which is not melanistic, fell to as few as 10 to 20 animals, crippled by habitat loss and genetic inbreeding. But a dedicated conservation effort, which included introducing new genes from Texas pumas, brought the population back from the brink to over 200 today. This proves that the threats of fragmentation and genetic isolation are real and deadly. But it also proves that dedicated conservation can work. The black panther is more than just a genetic quirk or a comic book hero. It is a keystone predator and a vital umbrella species. By protecting the vast, wild territories that these phantoms require, we, in turn, protect every other plant and animal that shares their forest home. The phantom of our imagination is real. Its story is written in its genes, and its future is being written right now by our actions.